for questions about what you guys do and how you do it. Nothing deep at all. Because my goal, of course, is to is to build this community thing online and offline.
Yeah.
So a lot of us don't think that we still got people out here doing stuff, and we do. But again, when you're not connected and you don't talk to your people, you don't know what the hell's going on. Which is a problem for us. We got to find a way to make this community thing work for real, for real. Because at the end of the day, it's just us. Anybody coming here? All right, we should do it.
50% of your city, man. You might as well just do what you're almost going to hang on.
Yeah, it's not gonna be any question you can answer.
No, I just want whatever. I want us to make sure that we're okay.
Sympathetic
Always. Okay. On the same page. Okay, well, I'll tell the same.
The good news about not being on the same page is that we won't know. She'll know, but we don't, because we don't know what we don't know, right? Y'all can say whatever. We won't know. We won't know to after the fact.
We'll take it
All right, so we are good to go on Facebook. We're live, and LinkedIn with Zoom. So, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Everybody's online that's watching the recording as well as live. This is Thursday morning breakfast. We try to do this every Thursday morning, hence the title, because we're trying to be the Thursday morning breakfast group. We're trying to be the bridge between the do-gooders, and the people that need that good to be done in their lives. There's a lot of good things happening in the greater Houston area as it relates to people trying to help the community, marginalized communities, Black communities, no matter what the community looks like. And for whatever reason, be it expertise, marketing, social media, website, whatever, there's a disconnect between that good that's being done. In a lot of cases, that's been being done for a very long time, but the people in the community don't know about it. So we try to get out into the community at least 3 Saturdays of every month so that we can speak to people about what we're doing and the people that we're connected to, because we have to find a way to bring our collective skill sets together, especially now. We've always needed community since we were kidnapped and brought here. They said, y'all want to go on a cruise? We said, yeah, we're going on a cruise. They was lying and been lying since. So we have to find a way to pool our collective skill sets, because so many things are happening now in this country and they're moving very, very, very fast. From the economics to the food, to the money, to the education, to the spiritual, to the community gentrification. It's like everything is being attacked as it relates to marginalized and Black communities. But if you think about it, it's always been that way. We've lost sight of the understanding that we still have people who have a certain agenda that is not good for us. It's not good for poor people, it's not good for marginalized people. And unfortunately, poor white people are realizing that Trump is a billionaire. And he's not for you, he's for the billionaire class. And everything he's doing, of course, is going to hurt minority communities or marginalized melanated communities. That's a given. But these poor white people are realizing that, oh my God, the DEI was working for me. My food stamps, my veteran benefits. My kid has ADHD and he needs medication. All that stuff is being cut. I think that a lot of these people voted for Trump because he was against DEI because they thought DEI meant Black. That's my personal belief. And they need community too. And our mindset in my organization is that we Black people, we got to get our stuff right so that we can move forward, so we can show other people how to do it. I believe that the world is out of balance because African people are out of balance.
Yeah.
I like to say that Black people are the rhythm of the planet.
Yeah.
Because this would be a boring ass place if we weren't on it. I mean, just think about everything that we do and how I just got goosebumps. Everything we do, even if it's some BS like sagging pants, which I hate. The world follows because we make everything for you.
Black people set the world's culture.
Exactly. That's America's greatest export. You know, everything that we do, we take to another level. What if we got serious about developing our communities to be powerhouses?
Okay.
There is nothing that we cannot do once we put our minds to doing it. We just got to get our minds focused on some stuff that's not BS.
Okay.
Right? And again, whatever we do, the world follows. So we're here every Thursday morning as much as possible because we have to find a way to connect with people who are doing things that our community needs to be done.
That's right.
And the fact that you guys are all about connectivity as it relates to communities in need, which are a lot of communities, that's a big deal. Because again, it's not that we don't have expertise. It's not that we don't have people who know what to do. It's not that we don't have connectors. Is that we're not connected to all of that. Is why we lose out. So this morning we're going to talk to Brother Leon, Brother Tyrone about their organization, their nonprofit, and what they do, how they do it, how well they do it. And the first thing they're going to answer is, what does that name mean? Because God knows that's different. So we're gonna start there, and then the brothers are gonna go talking about is it Backo Pele? Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay. Talking about what they do, how they do it, and then we'll keep it moving. So on that note, can we give the brothers a round of applause? Let's do that. Hey, thank you, brothers.
Yeah, thank you, Tamani, for having us. Just for the quick answer, but we'll share even more about what Bako Pele means. But it means people first.
People first.
Yeah, it's from the South African language. We did ministry there for many years, but it simply means people first. I am because we are.
Amen.
This is
That's right.
Yes, that means the individual has value not only as an individual but in the context of community.
Yeah.
So that is our heart. So even as I think about my role, I call myself a faith and economic impact strategist for the ministry. And as a CEO, I help to align our ministry resources and donor investments to create lasting transformation in underserved communities, such as Acres Home, Sunnyside, and other parts of Houston. And I'm allowed myself, again, I'm Leon Best and Tyrone. I'm allowed this, he's a CEO. I'm allowed him to introduce himself.
Yes. So as Leon said, I'm Tyrone, the CEO of Batho Pele Resource Center. And Leon had mentioned something very crucial, which was Ubuntu. And I'll say we designed this out of this word basically from a story. We were actually serving in South Africa, as Leon shared. And I remember we were doing a VBS, as some of you may know, Vacation Bible School. We did it in South Africa, and all these kids, hundreds of kids. And young man wins the Bible memory verse. And the group that they were in start to cheer because we won. The American in me was stumped.
Okay.
Because we didn't win anything.
Right.
He won.
And
he's getting a treat.
Right.
The group ain't getting a treat because it's just a blow pop.
Right.
And we can't really divide a blow pop into a whole bunch of things. And so my guy goes up and he gets his blow pop, comes back, and if you can imagine a concrete wall, he smashes said blow pop up against the wall.
Say what?
Opens it up.
Wow.
Disperses
Amen.
the blow pop.
That is beautiful.
Because what?
That is beautiful.
We
Yeah.
won.
That's right.
And that is Ubuntu.
That's fine.
That is also when
That's
we
right.
think about Batho Pele, when we thought about what it means to put people first, it was that imagery in mind that we need to break up the resources and say, how do we help give each person what they need?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we do this in a way that also gives God the glory? We are a Christ-centered first organization. So it's like, Lord, let me not only talk to you about Jesus, let me show you what it looks like to not just hold on to resources. So that's a little bit of how we came to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So even sharing a little bit, even about our backgrounds of who we are, I am a native Texan, born here, educated here in Houston, went to Rice University, and then went into my ministry journey. God called me to full-time ministry with a Christian nonprofit. And so I did a lot of campus ministry here in the Houston area, started campus ministries at Rice, Texas Southern, Prairie View, just building relationships again with pastors in the area of Sunnyside and Third Ward. And then just the 25 plus years of ministry. And in that time, we mentioned South Africa, I spent 12 years in that crucible, learning about just community and the family. Those are the things that I took away. And my desire was to, okay, we're going to bring it back here, bring it back to where I'm from, here in Houston. And so just the idea of the lessons I learned and the skills and ability to bring it back to underserved communities. And so again, when I think of Batho Pele Resource Center, that's what I think of. Just bringing it to the people first, because I know the only way we're going to transform community is if the people are built up and resourced and valued and given life.
No, that's good. Like we really see the value of building up our communities. And as Leon shared, as you know, his journey, one of the things that I learned over the past 25 years of essentially doing ministry in our community. And I started doing ministry here in Houston in 2004 with high school students.
Okay.
And anytime you begin to do any sort of work with high school students, you end up working not just with younger folks, the high school students, but you're dealing with their families.
Yep.
You're starting to see the realities of what's going on in their homes.
Yep.
You're starting to see the realities of what's going on in their whole community. Do they, you know, aunties, uncles, the neighbors, you're connected with everybody.
That is right.
But at the same time, you also see where there should be connections, there should be deeper relationships amongst the community. And we start to see, man, there's some gaps. And there's some gaps within the families.
Right.
And I'll just hit just on that because we really saw an opportunity to look at our community and say, how do we help the underneath structure of our communities? And one of those structures is families. And I'm not going to talk about all the things that are going wrong in our communities with families, but we did see, Lord, there's something that we need to bring. And one of the unique things that we bring, I remember we would go places with our families and people would be shocked. Some of the kids would be shocked. They're seeing Leon and I and our wives and our children. And it's like, oh, this is your wife. Y'all have been married for a long time. Oh, these are your kids. And there's something about seeing Black families working together in our community, not running away from the community, but running to the community. And so that's one of the most valuable things that we bring is actually running to the community to help provide stability and structure into this family pillar that supports our community.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Did you guys find it, did it make it more difficult or was it easier when you're there to work with the kids, but of course with the kids come the kids' family, the environment, the parents, did that make things more difficult or easier because you were understanding the root cause of so many things?
You know, for us, I think it is I don't see it just as a kid.
Okay.
That the kid is a part of a family.
Right.
And so whatever that family situation is, we try to address it even simultaneously, if you will.
Okay.
You know, the heart is okay. I remember we had a holiday club at one of these underserved communities. You're familiar with it, not far from here. And I remember seeing a father or a male figure really beating this kid physically. Okay. Like the kid had to be 3 or 4 years old. And I'm just like,
Oh, yes.
we're just like kind of witnessing this. And he was kind of away. So it's just like, okay, you know, it's almost like, what is my purpose? What am I going to do here? Am I going to try to run up and infiltrate this domestic situation? God's like, no. And so, but what ends up happening is that the Christmas party we had, they end up being there and coming.
Okay.
And so getting the opportunity to say like, you know, this is another opportunity. There's community, there's family. You know, let me learn more about your situation. What is going on, brother?
Right.
Where you felt the need. Because basically, this is probably what you learned on how to discipline a young child. And so that's one way. Just thinking about all the these underlying issues that we're going through. There's this idea of just kind of this relational isolationism, this educational strain, just the financial barriers that people are going through. And so we are the situation in the underserved communities. It's like, whoa, God, how do we bring these resources? How do we bring things together? Because again, you talk about family. We did a lot of the schools. Just even economic stagnation. This idea of the struggles of young entrepreneurs not able to get in the capital to be able to be economic generators of their community. And then like you said, there's already people there. Many churches, many nonprofits, but their efforts are almost siloed
Mhm.
or piecemeal. It's like one piece of the puzzle. But until we bring that puzzle together,
Yeah.
and have people working together and be able to fully resource them and see the value, that is where kind of we're going towards as we deal with the underlying issues of these systematic.
Is it siloed on purpose or just ignorance or a little bit of both? Siloed as far as the churches and nonprofits?
That's a great question. I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I don't think we talk enough about is the effects that integration happened.
Word.
Okay.
Yep.
So integration happened. One of the byproducts of that was the wealth moved out of certain spaces, our
Sure.
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And so it's not that it was intended
Mm-hmm.
to leave just the poor and impoverished
Yeah.
in one spot,
Yeah.
because like most of us my age, a lot of us grew up with the pastor, the engineer,
Okay.
the lawyer, and the dope dealer on the same street.
That's right.
Okay. And
Yeah.
as we were talking earlier, I also got beat by those same people.
Yeah. Amen.
You know,
Yeah.
on that
You
same
probably
street.
deserved it.
And now it's siloed different because we had opportunity.
Okay.
And when we were given opportunity to get not just the better jobs, but we had opportunity to live wherever we wanted
Right.
to.
Yeah.
Now, as a people, we've got to figure out, although I can live wherever I want to, I cannot leave them behind.
Sure.
And so with BPRC, now I want to make sure I stress this. We look at our community in 4 phases.
Okay.
Okay. There's 4 crucial pillars, as you call it, foundational structures: the family,
Okay.
the church, schools, and small businesses.
Okay.
These things all work together. And so we kind of even look at them like, when we are engaging in a ministry context, which one of these pathways do we use to engage within the community?
Okay.
And so when we talk right now, we've been talking about families,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks so much broader than just kids. So when we go into an apartment complex, as Leon was sharing, you see this particular family dynamic at play.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also are noticing, man, there's generations of poverty that are living in this
Sure.
one complex.
Yep.
And the problem can get so big. And so one of the things that we look at doing is, how do you put your arms around this?
Mm-hmm.
So a practical way we engage with these families, we've actually, the coldest day of the winter one year, door to door, talking to families, what do you need here? What are the things that are missing here?
Right.
And actually, because this is what we do typically.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you need, I'm going to provide it. I never asked you what you actually needed. I never asked you what you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I meet with some old ladies, and they're much older than I. And they sit under this they they're aged, they're seasoned, and they are great.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I know what you need. You need a bingo night,
Yeah.
something to engage in, and y'all can get together. And let me tell you what these old women hit me with. And they hit me with it hard.
Okay.
They said, Tyrone, we need food.
Okay.
The programs that we used to have that brought us food,
Right.
Those are gone now.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you expect us to eat?
Yeah.
And I was floored.
Yep.
Because here I am with all of my great thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk and I laugh with these women
That's right.
every week. And then the shades came down. My own thoughts had to change.
Yeah.
About how I engage in this community.
Yep.
Because of that. And as I watch them raising their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got to figure out not to judge the grandparents, not to judge the family.
Okay.
And we have to avoid that. We have to avoid victim blaming, because they're in a situation that I don't need to judge. I just need to figure out, how do I come alongside you?
That's right.
Yeah. So as I think about we shared, established the problem, but the heart is always like, what is the vision? What is the vision that we see that these ministries can become? And with Bothell Paley Resource Center, we always say we help to transform underserved communities into Great Commission communities.
Okay.
And what a Great Commission community looks like for me is, again, as we talk about those 4 pillars, we talk about a thriving, but families are thriving, schools are resourced, able to help equip the next generation, you know, businesses or economic drivers. And then churches are doing what God's called them to do to help the community be rooted in Christ. And so this is the vision of this great commission communities that we talk about, helping underserved communities to become that. That is our heart in seeing this vision come forward.
Hold on real quick. May I ask you a question?
I do. I have just a couple. First thing is, if you would please give us a definition of what you mean by underserved communities. I know, as I'm sure you all know, that terminology is used on a large spectrum, especially when it comes to particularly Black and Brown communities. And I am in Acres. I've been here for 35 years, and I just want to make sure that, you know, not just myself, but because I do want to acknowledge the glory of what you all are doing, you know. So I want to be clear, and I want those other people that are listening in the virtual world to understand what is being meant by that, because it is a big hole. And then I have a couple.
No, I think that's a great question. So it's definitely multifaceted, but when we began to look at identify communities that we want to focus in, the first was the actual percentage and number of Black people in that community. So before we even talk about underserved communities, they were specifically Black communities, and even just historical Black communities, like in Acres Homes. That's why we're here. And for 25 years of doing community-based ministry, one of the things that we like to say we do is what's called like kind of mapping a city. And so you begin to see how many restaurants are here, how many banks are here, versus how many, call it, payday loans are here. So as you begin to map the city and you realize, wow, in Acres Homes, there's not very many grocery stores, or banks for that matter,
or medical facilities.
medical facilities.
So there's this idea of just underserved, like there's people with different socioeconomic backgrounds in the place, but it's still just not enough grocery stores
As a community.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even for whatever reasons, even the schools, you know, some would even say the schools are underperforming. And so these are things that when we look at underserved communities, that's kind of how we define it holistically. So yeah, my heart is there are great people there. They are there, and some of them just need more knowledge or just need to know what's going around. And so we're able to help be connectors as well. So that's when I think of underserved, that's how I define it, and why we're going after it to help and build up the community.
And also, I don't want anyone to think when we are talking about underserved communities, it's not that it is void of anything good or positive.
Right.
Because a part of one of the things that we do is helping unearth and find all the connecting pieces. I've said this early on when we started working in Acres Homes. You can throw a rock and hit 10 nonprofits, 10 people that have deep passions for working in the community. But sometimes we're all a little bit disconnected. And so one of the things is, when it comes to under-resourced communities, it's just that we have to actually connect those resources and connect people to all the resources that are there. And there are a limited amount of, let's say, structured state resources, but they're there. But if you don't know them, they might as well not be there.
Right.
I agree. And I think thank you for that, clearing that up, because I think a lot of times when that is heard, underserved communities, we don't think along those lines. We think about these unfortunate, poor, disadvantaged people. And that's not always the case. I'm not saying Acres Homes doesn't have its share. I'm Acres Homes proud, and I know what we have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that when the masses hear, that's what they latch on to, and that's what they go. So thank you for clarifying that point. The other thing I want, this is a comment, and then I have another question. The one thing I want to comment on is when we're talking about the nonprofit organizations in the community. I think that, and I'm going to speak on this from a failure perspective. The nonprofit organizations that we have in our communities, a lot of times, are people that come from the situation that they're trying to serve. However, they have not expanded their mind as to how to improve it. They just want, because they've experienced it, they feel like they can come in and help. So that's why you can see these nonprofit organizations in the community that are allowing certain behaviors to continue, because the person that's serving on that nonprofit organization sees that as a normal behavior because they experienced it themselves. They haven't gone out. I don't know if you all quite grasp what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because that is a lot of stuff. I worked with a gentleman just a few weeks ago. And in talking with him, hearing some of the things he was saying about the youth that he was working with. I pulled him to the side and I said, brother, you have not removed yourself from that element. How are you gonna elevate them? And that happens a lot with nonprofits, with with people that are in the community, that's part of that. I just want to help, I've been there, I know where you've been.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's kind of.
Did he hear you when you said that then? Did he hear you?
I don't know if he did, if he didn't, he did get a little like, I saw his body, being the next police officer.
Yeah.
I saw his body language change,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't like immediately accepted,
Sure.
but it was my duty. As it was with, you all's organization, to point these things out. And when you were sharing the story about the father or the male figure that was,
Beat child.
attacking on the child, that I immediately went to that. And so that was that. Now, the transfer, the Great Commission, you said, going from margin, okay. I'd like to hear more about what does that look like?
What does that look?
Go ahead.
I just want you to unpack that a little bit more so I can make sure we give you the
Okay,
right. So you said the Great Commission.
I understood it correctly. We're transforming underserved communities into Great Commission
Yes.
communities. And I'd like for you to explain more of what that means. What does that look like to the average person? For me, it's important that everybody in the room can understand specifically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes
Yeah.
those terms,
Yeah.
that communication has to be here.
Yep.
Yes.
And then everybody can get it, is
Right.
what I'm.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me try to answer it like this. So we have very much evangelistic missionary backgrounds.
Right.
In saying a Great Commission community, one of the things that we've learned over our time of doing missions is simple. Like, we believe that it's not necessarily the most important thing to fill up the seats in the church, but to actually make the communities the church.
Okay.
And so if we can actually bring the good news of Jesus into said communities, and I'll because we're in Acres Homes, I'll
Yeah.
specifically talk about Garden City. And I've said, I will plant myself in this community. I will share Jesus in this community. The church is here. And I will love you. I will walk with you. I will be with you. I will stand with you. And so when we talk about making a Great Commission community, it's about taking the good news of Jesus and actually living it out next to you. I can show you Jesus by actually walking you through how to get a death certificate for your father, because you have no idea the next steps because you are alone. I can show you Jesus through doing a vacation Bible school with your kids and hearing a mom and a child say, I wish I could go to church now. Seeing my kids so excited about learning Bible verses. We can change the narrative of our communities when we actually just come alongside our brothers and sisters. And with not just a proclamation of accept Jesus, but let me show you how Jesus loved us.
Yeah, and even when I always share about the this Great Commission, there's always the idea of, yes, I think you mentioned the evangelism part of sharing the gospel. Then there's the discipleship part of helping people grow in their relationship with the Lord. And so when I've always seen, even going back to history, some of our great civil rights leaders, they've always were come from the church. You know, that was kind of the impetus that drove them and motivated them to see what God wanted to do with their community. That's love. I mean, I think of MLK and this idea of the beloved community and how he shared that, you know, being everyone together and loving one another. And when we see people as valuable, when we see people as this is life, we change about how to love our neighbor, you know, and how essential that is to love one another and love your neighbor. And so when I think of, it's embedded, and MLK got that from Acts 2, you know, from God's word about brothers helping one another, selling things in order to make sure other believers are taken care of. And so that is what I say, Great Commission. It is rooted in God's word, yes, and how it's been fleshed out in history and especially in our community. And so I continue to echo that and share that with others about this idea of a Great Commission community.
So is a commission community a community that's accepted Jesus? Is that what you guys are saying?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
Not necessarily, because not everybody is going to make that decision.
that is true.
Yeah.
Everybody is not going to be a believer of Christ.
That's right.
Right.
Did not understand from Sister Melanie that this is a non-faith. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Faith-based, right? Yeah. Faith-based organization, which means that I interpreted that, and correct me if I'm wrong. That does not identify a specific type of a religious group. Am I correct in understanding that?
Yes, to a degree, but we are very much Christ-centered.
Okay,
Okay,
because
so-
if I'm in Garden Oaks and I practice Buddhism, there's a different belief there.
Mhm.
And so, but I want to feel inclusive in what you're bringing to the organization. But if the conversation is Jesus Christ centered, it could possibly push me away. I'm not.
No, I'll give you.
Has that been an issue?
I'm looking for the
Yeah.
inclusion,
Yeah.
and I
No.
want everybody
Yeah.
to feel that. I think that's what Tamani was
Yeah.
trying to do.
So I'll say this. So I'll give you an example. So years ago, I've never been shy about my passion for Jesus.
Right.
Never. We were doing a lot of different ministry, which we still do in high schools. And I had a teacher, a Muslim teacher, and she came to me one day and she was like, I just actually would like to know if could I help you? She said, I know that you're Christian
Yeah,
and you're Muslim, but I need to be a part of what you're doing because you are making an impact
Sure.
in these kids' lives.
amen.
And I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
The problem that we see so much is we say, if you are a true believer in Christ, you know that it don't matter what you believe. When I know who God is, and I know that if you just get near to him, all you got to do is touch the close button. God will change your life. And I don't have to tell you, I don't have to convince you. That's why it's like, all I got to do is show up. And we allow anybody. I mean, it doesn't matter. And from whatever you may believe to whatever your profession is, we meet local pharmacists all the time. And I've never been
street pharmacists.
street
For
pharmacist.
clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what, you CVS
No,
employee?
not your CVS employee. Not your CVS employee.
Pharmacist, you gonna teach you?
We met this brother. He said, we was like, what do you do? He said, well, I work here.
Right here.
Right. This is your employment right here on the corner there.
What's your
Yeah.
address? Where you
On
staying?
the block that we're standing. Okay, I got
This is
you.
my block. The Papa.
That's my calling right here.
And
That's
you
right.
and you think to yourself, what do I have in common with this young brother?
Wow.
I get the most passionate hugs from that brother.
Okay.
When he came and asked me, Tyrone, can you help me with my kids, getting some daycare for my kids? What am I gonna tell him? Well, you don't believe in Jesus, man. You out here ruining your community for selling dope. I can't help you. Nah, man, let me go ahead and I'm gonna put my feet to the plow
Yeah.
and figure out how I can help you. And I don't do it for any other reason that I know you need some help.
Yeah,
So I don't care what you do. Because that's not, I haven't been called to judge you based on what you do or what you believe.
right,
I got a job to do myself, and that's just to merely help our community.
right, 100%. Amen.
Unencumbered by whatever you believe or do.
Okay, I got a two-part question. One is based on what Mayasa said. Do you have another question? You're good.
No, I honestly, I just want to make sure that everybody is hearing and.
Right.
You know,
And on the same thing with the commission.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Based on what she said as relates to, and you guys said it as well, you can throw a rock and hit a bunch of nonprofits. A lot of our people, I'm not sure about people in general, but I know a lot of Black people. We start nonprofits thinking about the grant money I might be able to get if I have a nonprofit. I believe that we have a lot of good intentioned people, but we don't understand how to run a nonprofit. And it could be because we're a technician and we're not a business owner. We have a personal situation and we want to help people with it. We might be coming at it from the wrong vantage point. So my first part of my question is, have you guys been able to help people who either have a nonprofit or want to have a nonprofit run it in a way that's going to be successful? And do you find it difficult for your nonprofits to work together? And I know that first one might be kind of tough.
Yeah, the first question is, we have helped other nonprofits. That's a quick answer.
Okay.
And so whether it's some of the knowledge of just our experience working with large other nonprofits.
Okay.
So we work with one local nonprofit and help them with a strategic plan.
Okay.
And so they did not know what it means to have a strategic planning
Right.
process.
Right.
And so taking them through that, that process,
Okay.
that's kind of one example of skills that we have to help with nonprofits.
Yeah.
Another way you mentioned is fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have a unique methodology that we learned from one of the largest
Okay.
volunteer Christian network, where we raise ministry partners.
Okay.
And so what that looks like, it allows us to be able to fund our ministry without the use of grants.
Okay.
And so it's a process that we learn and that we teach those that would like to do it.
Okay.
And so those are just a couple of the things that we do to help nonprofits with, becoming better, becoming stronger,
Right.
becoming whole.
Yeah,
Again,
because it is a business.
it is,
Yeah.
it is. And
Yeah.
so as I share about our strategy, we have the four forming strategy of the pillars.
Mm-hmm.
We resource them by our 3E strategy.
Okay.
Where we're training, we're equipping and empowering, we bringing in volunteers or people resources, as well as enriching,
Okay.
as well as helping
Equipping, empowering, and enriching.
enriching.
Gotcha.
And so where we help bring finances, whether it's training them how to raise their support, as well as a new funding, doing some micro capital, providing small loans for Christian nonprofits or small business people,
Okay.
or even
Emergency
personal
loans.
or some personal loans.
And they've been open, nonprofits. They've been open to you guys helping them learn how to be a better nonprofit and working together.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a relationship, right?
Okay. Okay.
It's all a
Okay,
relationship.
right. Because if you don't have it, it ain't gonna work anyway. Gotta have the relationship.
You gotta have a
Yeah.
relationship.
And I think that is so key. But even to one of the other points that you had mentioned about working together, I think the best way that we accomplish this is actually really living it out.
Okay.
And so we always are trying to collaborate with other people. So when we do events, it's normally in connection
Mm-hmm.
with other nonprofits.
Gotcha.
And so it's not just, let me hang the BPRC flag and this is us,
Mm-hmm.
but we need you over here handling this, you doing this over here. And it's that recognition of one organization can never accomplish
That
everything.
is right.
And so we can really do well. You do this is what you do well.
That's right.
This is what I do well.
Yep.
This is what you do well. Let's come together. And now it's
And make it happen.
real. And because
Yeah.
people need to see more than just our group,
Mm-hmm.
they need to know that, yeah, they can call us, but they may not need to call us. They may need to call you that deals in,
Yeah.
medical issues. You may have a medical issue for your child. You don't need to actually call me, but I've introduced you to the person that can get you the aid that you need,
Sure.
or the financial aid that you need over here.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're trying to help nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
We are all just a piece of a larger puzzle.
Perfect segue to my next question. I've heard you guys mention a lot of things that you have done to help others.
Mhm.
what resources does BPRC
Mhm.
provide to the community? Because like the things you mentioned, I don't see a direct connect because it's like a broad listing. So what do you guys do as it relates to bringing resources to the community? Or more importantly, what don't you do?
That's a great question. I will some of the things like that we do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll specific tackle when we look at schools.
Okay.
And so we'll walk into a school and talk to principals about what we can provide.
Okay.
And one of the things that we can provide is call it manpower, whether it's just bringing people onto the campus volunteering. So a lot of our schools in the community there's a gap in the
Mhm.
amount of volunteers.
Then every school look for people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think.
when you say, I tell a principal, can we bring men specifically on your campus to walk the halls?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And then,
Wow.
it's without, I can walk onto most campuses actually, I would say in the world
Okay.
and engage on a high school campus.
Okay.
Because there's always need.
Yes.
And specifically,
Brothers.
brothers.
Yep.
Like they need to see men.
Yep.
Like the young girls need to see what it's like
Mm-hmm.
to have a man that is not trying to get something from
Amen.
them or out of them.
Yes, sir.
And these young
Yes, sir.
brothers that are coming up need to see what a husband looks like.
Yep. An example.
And that I'm willing to sit with you
Yep.
and talk with you.
Yes, sir.
The other thing that I actually got a phone call last year, maybe, and the principal asked me to sit in the classroom
Mm-hmm.
to help with some stuff that was going on. I sat in that classroom for 3 months
Mm.
and just engaging, which then what happened is we built a relationship
Okay.
with that particular teacher,
Mm-hmm.
other teachers, the school. When they see us around on campus, it's like, oh, wow, you guys really do care.
Okay.
The other thing we do is actually not just, I don't want people to miss it, because a lot of times when we talk about schools, we only think about students.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the actual backbone of the school is the teachers and administration,
Sure.
and they are missing.
Yeah.
And so we actually last year brought in a counselor, and she did an entire workshop for all the teachers and staff
Okay.
on burnout awareness and prevention.
Wow. Yeah.
And so we want them to know as a school, we not only care about the students,
Mhm.
but we care about your longevity in this.
Yeah.
And so I pray with the principals, Leon, Melanie, our team,
Okay.
we're there at multitude of capacities. And that's just dealing with, I'll say, the schools. For sake of time, I mean, there's a lot that we do in every sector, from families,
Mhm.
schools, churches, and businesses.
Okay.
But what we do is we bring our expertise into it. And then where we are not experts,
Mm-hmm.
we bring those experts in.
You got connections.
Yeah, so one of the fun things we did in Sunnyside School is kind of an enlightenment program.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
basically brought in people with career and college pathways to speak to the kids during their advisory period.
Okay.
And so we had a number of, I think of 10 individuals that came in different times to be able to speak to
Okay.
the kids.
Wow.
Whether it was a Howard University musical theater student,
Yeah.
to a psychologist, to an entrepreneur, and so that was a fun experience for the kids. That like, hey, could you bring in like a civil engineer or a medical
Also,
doctor?
that's what we're requesting a certain kind of stuff.
Yes.
Oh, that's
yeah,
powerful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Because again, and sometimes sometimes our speakers when they got there, the kids seem kind of
Reluctant.
huh?
Reluctant.
Reluctant or kind of like they're disengaged.
Yeah.
But they were listening.
Yeah.
And then they would come up to me later, hey, what
Okay.
about what that guy did or military,
Gotcha.
what's that experience? And so being able to connect them to the resources there at the school. So
Okay.
a number of different initiatives that we do to help, again, resource these pillars.
And
Okay.
it's also even with churches, we desire to help, I'd say, equip churches on how to do outside ministry, whether it's doing outreaches next door, doing outreaches in the apartment complexes next to you.
Yeah.
Come see and experience how we engage.
Okay.
Most Christians
Mhm.
actually have never shared their faith and never put themselves in a position to
Yep.
engage with others.
Yep.
It's really, we can do a gift giving thing, but it's like, like we actually spend time discipling and developing
There's no real
the
community
local
outreach.
church. Right.
Yeah.
And what it looks like to engage in this capacity.
Yeah, I'll always remember local older men saying, "Hey, I want to do that men on campus thing." You know, it ends up Worthing specifically, and so I got Sam and Joe, and they would come, older guys, retired, and to realize this is kind of the first time in a while that they've seen their own. It seemed like, right? Because the guy was like, I don't know if I could initiate a conversation with another young man here in the high school. And this guy's, this is a seasoned saint. I mean, he's in the 70s, if not older. And I was like, he's like, how do you do it? I was like, here, let me show you. So I engaged a conversation with a young man. He was kind of thinking about dropping out. And I was like, Joe, why don't you share a little bit about your experience? Because I kind of know his history. And so Joe was able to explain to him, just like, being in that spot, in that situation, and think about how could I live my life. But I got, his career path was joining the military, and sharing his experience. And you can see like tears, like being able to share with this young man. At first he was scared to even share with. And so and him afterwards coming and doing a debrief time, just thinking, yeah, I need to do more of this.
Yeah.
And getting, some people just don't know how much they're needed.
Yeah.
Because we've isolated them, or for
I was just about to say that it's very, very, very important for us as individual Black people and our community members to not put our people in a box. Mayasa and I were members of the same church for a very long time, and the founder used to always say, we can't be afraid to talk to Black people. You got to be willing to talk to your people, because if you are looking at your people based on what other people say, of course you're not gonna talk to them because they don't want you talking to them. But if you see them as a part of the Ubuntu mindset, then of course you'd be chopping at the bit to share your backstory with a young brother or sister, because you never know how they might be able to benefit from that. And I'm blown away by what you guys said about what you were able to do for the teachers. Now it is absolutely shocking to me that HISD, which is, I think it's
That's exactly what my.
I think it's like the second largest school district either in the state or in the country.
It's still the first, and then
So the first in Texas.
State.
Okay,
state.
it's huge, right? So you guys brought in services or a speaker for the teachers, because they're humans. They have a need. Blah 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 blah. I would think that a school district the size of HISD would be doing something like that to ensure that their teachers are okay. That does not occur.
Well, I think you just see a lot of there's so much going on. And then when you are present in a thing,
Okay.
but you're from the outside.
Right.
So I often tell people, I love schools, but I'm never going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm never going to work
It's a different calling.
for the school.
It's a different
I
calling.
will work
Yeah.
with the school.
Right.
What that allows me is the ability to actually see things that may be missed because of the focus for the school is to meet standards.
Yeah. See and say.
Okay?
See things and you can say things.
That is, but that's they have to.
Yeah.
And so now we can observe
Okay.
what's going on
Yeah.
and then come back and say, we need to make some decisions on what to do here, and then act upon it.
And it's not easy,
It's a good
because
point.
when I go to, I think I mentioned this earlier before the show, is that, working at Worthing for only less than, we'll say 3 or 4 years, there's been 3 different principals.
Right.
And so you can imagine how turnover affects morale of the staff.
Yep.
And then even the staff, some of them have been there long term, great individuals. This is where they are. But in terms of how to connect with the administration, when you don't know how long they're going to be there, so they are always implementing new strategies and protocol.
Yeah.
It just, if they're confused, you can imagine what the
Sure.
kids are feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I'll bring this back up to something that you had mentioned earlier. Like, I'm not from Texas. I'm not a native Texan.
Oh.
Okay?
Neither am I.
I said this earlier. I started doing ministry in Acres Homes in 2004.
Okay.
And I bring Acres Homes, I'll connect it to like how I feel about the continent.
Yeah.
When you come, something gets in you and you have to go back.
Okay.
I went to Africa for the first time and something got in us and I had to go back. I started doing ministry in Acres Homes, and even though I did ministry for 10 years and then moved out of the country, moved away in other states, but where I always knew I would come back to was here, because there's a
Here,
difference
Acres Home, here, the US.
here, well, in Houston
Okay,
specifically,
gotcha.
because it's like we talk about resources and community, and I feel like God has given us in BPRC this vast amount of knowledge in how to engage in communities. And a lot of times what happens is we do that in majority spaces.
Okay.
And BPRC exists because we said we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do that in our spaces.
Okay.
And we get to take, I'd say, wisdom and skill sets and say, we're going to actually navigate this a little differently. I know what's happening in schools.
Yeah.
I know, I can look at what's happening in hoods, and I can tell you there are certain similarities that are constant.
Yeah.
But then you have to spend some time to see, okay, at Worthing, it's this. And at Eisenhower, it looks like this. At Aldine, it looks like this. Or in Garden City, it looks like this. And this church needs this. And so you kind of have to be able to keep your head on a swivel and constantly pull from your bag of resources.
Right.
And that's what I would, for us, it's how big can we get our bag of resources to be?
Okay.
Because I need for us to be able to connect in any space and know we have something or need. It's either me or somebody I know that can resource you. And when we do things together, it's like, and I've had to tell somebody, no, I'm not from here. But that doesn't void out my ability to help.
Right.
Because I've actually walked with people here. And that's one of the major differences for us. We walk side by side with the people that we engage with.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to respond to something that Tamani said when he talked about HISD and the resources and stuff like that. HR is going to make sure that those things are in place for teachers to get. So I want to make that clear to Tamani. So, people don't think, oh, they're not for their teacher. That's just the HR system that has to happen in any kind of environment like that. But the next thing I want to do is give you all praises and acknowledgement while we're present and we're live and the community is listening.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys did is you crossed the line. Because see, teachers and the administrative staffs in school, they're there all day, every day. So when the resources are available for them, they generally aren't available to get involved with. So you are in my language, taking what the Messiah would do. You're taking it to the people. You're going into, so that gives the teacher that you're standing there next to an opportunity to feel this sense of connection, and there is something here. And while you're standing here next to me, brother and sister, let me tell you what I've been dealing with. Even if that's a 3-minute conversation from the teacher side, with you giving, 5 minutes of feedback, it's there. There's a so that is something that I just wanted to acknowledge about, the system, because a lot of times we get to places where we badmouth organizations from the sense of their historical activity. And we forget that there are things that are in place. Unfortunately, the way they're in place is not necessarily conducive to the life of the people that need it. And that's also something that's happens in law enforcement.
A lot of times, especially us as a community, like we're generally, it's almost like counseling is, whoa,
Yeah, we don't do that.
don't do that.
Yeah.
But because of relationship, and it is so important, because you build relationships and people and teachers and community, and it's not just schools. This is we take this show on the road into neighborhoods and the communities. And when there's relationship, and you can see there's actual need to have other interventions that you could benefit. I see this. I have something just between me and you. You know what I mean? Like I got a guy that you may need to holler at. He'll come holler at. He ain't gonna cost you nothing. And it changes how they perceive it. Go ahead, sister. You had a question. Sorry.
song, so I'm sitting here thinking, well, I'm sitting out there.
Go ahead.
Actually, since,
Soul sister, yeah.
uh,
It's an old group. Hey, man.
I just wanna say, I'll piggyback on that, great job to you guys and to your wives.
Amen.
Because I know you have to have that support system.
Gotta have
To
it.
make those things happen. Even like when you talk about the brother, the older gentleman, we used to value our seniors.
Yep.
You know, and so it sounds like y'all are bringing that back in, so I think that's perfect, so. Just thank you all for this.
Are you all connected to, or I'm gonna read this, so I say it right. Are you all connected to or make contact with the Acres Homes Chamber of Commerce for Business and Economic Development?
Yes, we are a member.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure, were you all at the event last night? Okay, all right.
No, yeah.
This is the last
I
time
think
we checked it
she,
Wednesday,
I think
but-
Sheba sent it. Did she send Sheba? She sent something?
It's, yeah,
Yeah, I played.
But I was just wondering because there is a lot of people, my better half is very active in the Acres Homes community, and I can't wait to get back home to, and my better half taught her daughter.
Mm.
Aw.
Amen. Amen.
Y'all know, Norma Jo Thomas?
She did the,
You know, we saw it.
She's done so many.
Yeah.
At the chamber at the meeting. At the Edison Community Center.
We'll probably have to see it.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
A lot of gentrification, but anyway, I was just saying that because she's very active in the community.
Yeah.
They have an organization that is very active in the schools.
Okay.
And, they go into the schools and they take, things that are needed for teachers, staff, and students. So I was just wondering, I know her school in particular is MC Williams. And not to get on her bandwagon of anything, but I'm just thinking the connection that if you guys are not affiliated, that's why I was asking, because she's part of the
I would love
chamber
it.
and everybody is part of the chamber. And so just trying to see how that empowerment between those two organizations can work. That's what we're here for.
Well,
right?
that's I mean, the goal is to cover the whole community,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and not one group can do it. I mean, you've got
That's
to,
right.
you know, work together, and so, yeah. In those connections, that's what we need.
Okay, before I get to my next few questions, I'm pretty sure that these line of questionings knocked you brothers off your thing that you wanted to say. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't take anything away from you. So you guys are at the bottom of your list?
We try to incorporate
Yeah.
Okay,
who we are to give a good, you know, visual of who we are even through the questions.
okay.
Definitely. Again, and the idea is, yeah, you know, there's a heart, there's a vision, you know, in terms of how to, you know, what does it say? Vision without execution is just a dream.
It's a dream, yes, sir.
And so the heart of all this is, yeah, you know, we have a plan, the things that we desire to implement.
Okay,
In terms of the Pele Fund, which is our micro lending, that we desire to do, with the, you know, helping the startup businesses.
okay,
Or emergency loans. We also do, this year, we're doing the education, care kits,
Mhm.
that are provided to the teachers. We just gave how many at Eisenhower?
80.
Wow.
80 kits to Eisenhower.
Okay.
And
So let me. So a kit looks like there's a water bottle, there's a prayer journal
Mhm.
from, you know, great author, but it's 40 specific little paragraph prayers designed for teachers,
okay,
you know, that they could go through. There's an emergency, it's called emergency numbers, and it's just like verses that they could look up that deal with strength, value, courage, peace,
okay,
you know, and we gave them what's called the 4 bracelet just to be able to communicate what it means to actually know Jesus,
okay.
you know, and so it's and a gift certificate to Chick-fil-A.
that I will tell.
And so, right. And so, yeah, it was that, there was, you know, and something else that we gave in there, but it's all, that is, everything we do has a purpose.
Yeah,
So, you know, that comes on the heels of, we provide breakfast for teachers during their development days. And so I told the school, if I pay for breakfast, I speak.
Okay. I've earned that right. Okay,
That's,
So,
that's fair.
yeah, so, again, the idea of people contacting us.
Yeah.
Of course, you go to our website, buffalopelearc.org.
That,
BATHO.
I can't
Okay.
see Tyrone, the big old torso and what, don't worry, I'll get there. So my next question,
that, could you identify some of the top sources that, top resources that you all might be needing? And while I say that to you, let me be my own personal advertisement.
Okay.
But,
Yes.
but, could you identify what some of those resources are that you need so the public can hear? And if they have something they, you know, that they can offer, they can know what they're coming, you know, they can say, I have this and I want to bring it.
Right.
wait, along with that, my next question was, which is a connect to that is, how do you, when you identify that a resource is needed, what is the process of bringing that resource to that space? So both of those kind of go together.
Okay, when we identify a need.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you
Yeah.
wanna,
Yeah, I mean, again, when we identify a need, we automatically go to who are the people that we know.
Okay.
It's definitely word of mouth, and so we go with connections. So yes, getting you on a in our what is it?
Database.
Yeah, well, we'll way back to Rolodex. Sorry.
Not a roller.
My question.
But
Right.
so you can get our database. We will connect.
Lord,
We will be connecting with Hal and events that we're having, and just again, like I said, that enlightenment program that we did, yeah, it'd be great.
Now, what kind of program?
Enlighten.
Okay.
Career and career college pathways
Gotcha.
to be able to share with the students. These are things that we need resources for.
And I'll even say specifically too, one of the most important things that any organization like ours needs is any sort of time.
Mhm.
Like if you have ever thought to yourself, how can I engage with a student or in the community, whether it's with families, seniors, whether to engage in like an apartment complex community to help create change there. If you are business minded, want to connect with other young entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
we need those people that can help mentor and help shape that. There's also the financial literacy piece. As Leon talked about briefly, our Pele Fund is a new strategy that we've just kind of unveiled. We all know that there's injustice in terms of proper lending for African Americans.
Yep.
On from predatory lending.
Yep.
To you're not giving us business loans, accurately. So from all into the spectrums, we want to actually be a part of that solution. So we are providing loans in a lot of different areas, from smaller personal loans to up to $5,000 in small business loan. But it's tied to, and I need people to hear this, for us, that is tied to a financial literacy, discipleship course, that we've created, basically an 8-week financial course that is a part of your loan. You can't get a loan with us without actually wanting to go through that course, because we're not just giving you the funds, we want to give you the tools to continue to improve.
Right.
And so I've said, if we could take somebody out of the parking lot of a payday loan, that predatory lending that happens, and actually walk somebody through how to manage said funds.
Yeah.
We have won.
So what I'm hearing you say, based on what she asked, is that if anyone has something that they want to do, they bring it to you guys, and you guys figure out
100%.
when and where, how to do it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have a passion, we have a place for you.
Amen.
She has my information. My passion is financial literacy, and I am truly excited to get on board with you all to spread that aspect of the ministry of what you guys do.
Yep.
Okay.
Amen.
And I've given her a little bit of information about myself, how I kind of communicate, but and you guys pick the vibe up as well. So,
Okay.
you know, we're ready. We're going. We're gonna go ahead.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
I love it.
So we talked about both. I'm sorry, Leon, you about to say something?
No,
Go ahead.
Yeah, now for Jesus Christ, that was my face. Okay, let me knock these questions out. Okay, so both off. When the energy is vibing, it is what it is. Time goes. We talked about it before we started, and you guys mentioned it a little bit earlier. The village mentality. I may be, well, not quite the oldest one in here, but most of us, I think Tyrone, you might be the youngest, but all of us grew up in a time where we had the village, we had the community mindset was there. Your neighbors looked out for you for whatever reason. If you were a child doing wrong, your neighbors dealt with you, then they told your parents that they dealt with you. The parent thanked the neighbor, then you got in trouble again. And in my case, 3 times because my daddy came home. So my question is, what do you guys think happened to that village community mindset that we used to have? And more importantly, how do we bring it back?
So,
Yeah, okay, I'll come from my perspective.
okay.
So I am one of those kids where my parents, had 2 parents and then they decided to move out.
Okay.
So I grew up as a suburb kid.
Okay.
And so with that idea is like that was a resource lost to the community.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, so when you get in some certain spaces, it's almost like ingrained that going back there, it's not a good place.
Mhm.
I mean, they always tell me a story when I had to go get a haircut, went back to the hood, and I was scared of my own people, right? Because of how I'm the only black kid in these all white schools.
Yep.
And so how do you get back? It's like, yeah, there has to be people like me saying, you know what, there is value there.
Yeah.
There is a lot of value there, and we need to go back and help the resource. And so that is one thing that, my heart is I look at my life and then look, I went all the way back to the continent. And it's like, people were saying all kind of things about the continent, but it is a wonderful, beautiful place in
Right.
South Africa. I always
Right.
tell people y'all need to go and be and see what I always say what God is doing over there, but just what your people have been struggling and striving for.
Yeah.
And bringing that back. And then everything I've learned, I'm bringing back
Okay.
to the community. So
Okay.
that's kind of the short answer.
So your answer, your answer to the question is, we help bring that back by being a part of it and coming back. Got it.
Yeah, so I'll say one of the things that, yes, that was lost is that connectedness. And I feel like I'll tell it in the story. Young girl I discipled, my wife and I at school, I got a call from one of the counselors. Girl's got a cut over her eye. And the counselor's about to call CPS.
Yes, right.
Well, I just asked the question. I said, girl, what did you do? So I called my grandma out her name.
Okay.
I said, well, she had all right
Yeah.
to do what she did. Your grandmother's dealing with your mama.
Yeah.
She's dealing with paying all the bills. You have no right to say anything to that woman.
Mhm.
You treat that woman with the utmost respect.
Right.
And I mean, the counselor was like, I said, just.
Yeah. And it's powerful because the counselor can't say that.
Right.
Yeah.
I said, you let her make it.
Yeah.
Today, that same young girl is a business owner right here in this community.
Yeah.
Her family is doing well. And we talk and laugh about that moment all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not a part of her family,
Yeah.
but I am a part of it.
Extended, baby. Extended family.
Because we have lost a lot of in terms of the way our community looked, in terms of everybody living, we've got to actually look at how do we recreate something that is not going to come back, but we still can. I can come to you all the time.
Okay.
Because the engineers have left.
Yeah.
The doctors have left.
Yeah.
The pastors have left. But that doesn't mean you don't have the responsibility to keep coming back. Because when we raise our kids, my kids are always in the hood. Because of that, you will never be afraid of your own people.
Yeah.
And we have to be, and that means we go back.
So it's a community mindset.
You keep the community mindset.
Yes, sir.
Because you've never forgotten it.
Right.
You actually, you make it, for those that live in the suburbs and for those that live locally right in the same community, we all have the same responsibility because we share a collective trauma. We share a collective reality.
Yes, sir.
And we can't abandon that just because, and and we talked about finances, just because I want my finances to grow over here, don't mean I let my people go over here.
Right, right.
That's very important.
Okay, all right, I got two more wrap-up questions, and then I got a hard question for both of y'all. Anybody else got a question? Okay. Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
Brother Leon, Sister Melanie, you guys know about the situation, so, Brother Tyrone, it's for both of y'all, but you in the hot seat, because they know about it.
Good.
Okay.
So,
I might have to leave after this. We need to.
oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
well, well, I'll wrap up my question, I'll just ask him off camera.
Okay.
But last question, I think you guys already answered this. How can a person be a part of what you do? By showing up and then you know that I want to be a part. I'm assuming that's the answer.
Yes, they can go, they can, right on our website,
Mhm.
there's a how to get connected, and they'll give us our information and we'll
right.
connect them in.
The website is BATHOPELERC.org. Up at the top, right here. Okay, all right. So that was my last question, but let me go back to the one previous since you got to go, Brother Leon. This is the easy one, and this is for you as well, Sister Melanie. What drive? And I think I already know this one too, the answer. But what drives you guys to do what you do? Because what you do is absolutely awesome and needed. What drives you to do what you do?
I'll say for me, it's simple.
Mhm.
I have always had, I've had two loves. I've had a love for our people, our community, and I've always known that the only thing that it will change our community first, I mean, is Christ.
Okay.
And then the ability to actually be with our people.
Mhm.
Like those are my two driving forces.
Okay.
Is Jesus, and then to help our community rise above the narrative that is painted for us.
Okay.
Because every part of our community is beautiful.
Mhm.
And it's like, I love our community, and God allowed me to be born Black.
Okay. It is a blessing.
It is a
Yeah,
blessing.
it is a blessing.
And so, I mean, every day it's, Lord, how do we continue to rise higher and higher, higher? Because as we talked earlier, you know, is Black folks is setting the standard of the culture for around the world.
Everything we do, brother.
Around the world.
Yeah.
I will always ride for my people.
Yeah.
Every day. So I mean, it's like, Lord, because I love you, I love how you created me. I love where you created.
Okay. Amen. That's it. Brother Leon.
Yeah.
Melanie, so get ready, 'cause you got
Quick, what drives me, I think I'll share the whole story about being at Rice University. I led a Bible study
Okay.
and led a Bible study with all Black men.
Okay.
And I'll always remember the question I asked these young men, you know, what is your relationship like with your father?
Mhm.
And when I asked that question, only one had any relationship with their father.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
How many brothers were in that group?
10.
10. Okay.
And so I was like, whoa.
Jesus Christ.
You know, these guys, now they are.
Yeah.
Okay, professional basketball player, lawyers, doctors. But back then I was like, how are these guys going to be the leaders they need to be for, you know, for their possible spouses, for their possible families,
Yes,
the leaders in their community.
Yes, sir.
And I'll always remember kind of going, argue with the Lord, like there needs to be someone for these people. I even need that, right?
Yeah.
And I remember God just kind of impressing upon my heart. It's like, I'm making that for other men.
Mhm.
And so that kind of has always floored me in terms of the importance of just being in the community.
Yeah.
And how you know, these guys are so needed.
Mhm.
Whether they're just leaders, husbands, fathers, community leaders, that's you know, that's a very valuable resource in our community.
And as you guys said, when the brothers came into the school, just the presence of a Black male is heavy and powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Feel like to meet you, my bride.
The better half, the better half. If she looks better than you, let me tell you.
Yes,
That's right, that's right. Leon married up.
I did.
All right, sister, give it to us.
But yes, as these guys have shared today, we've had years of ministry, but one of the things that drives me is I grew up in Arkansas. I grew up in a community that was both grounded by their faith, but I saw the small business owners, I saw the teachers, I saw the lawyers. I had the aunties praying for me. And y'all were sharing something about, like, you know, this mindset, but one of the things when we lived in South Africa, when we met the elders in the community, our kids would call them auntie and uncles. And my little kids were like, are they really related to us? I was like, no, but they are extended family
That's
and
right.
they are our village.
That's right.
They are the people that have prayed for you or will pray for you. And that's what we've experienced as our families. You know, we have 4 kids and 3 adults. We got 1 that's still in school. They've had a number of people who have influenced them,
Yeah.
have prayed for them, have walked with them so that they can, again, discover not only importantly, their humanity
Yeah.
and that they have worth, they have value, but also that they have purpose, that God has put them on this earth to fulfill a destiny that he has written for them long before they were ever born. So we have lived that experience and we want to share it with others. And then the last thing, in South Africa, I thought I was going there to teach and they taught me so much. They taught me the story that Tyrone shared earlier about the lollipop. And I mean, we all have those moments where we're just like, man,
Yeah.
and even those connections of, you know, we call it CP time here, but it's actually time. They love people, they love relationships.
Yeah.
So that is a value more than time.
Yeah.
And so being a little slower, being observant, and yeah, and just being present with people. And so those are the things that our South African village has taught us and that we would desire to bring back here. And you know, and even live out practically as a community, as we build community. And communities are already here too.
Yeah.
And we want to strengthen communities.
It just shows how big the village is.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it went up to the continent.
That's
you know what I'm
right.
saying, and it comes around. So that was beautiful.
Yeah.
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 So the whole line, I'm about to close this thing out. Is there anything you guys want to say before I close it out?
No, because he gotta go.
I know. All right. So on that note, I want to just add to the statement. I'm not sure if it's an African proverb or not, but I've heard it said more than once that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a group. You know, so we're not going to get anywhere if we don't go as a group. Because God knows that there are other groups that have agendas that affect us because we're not as communally strong as we need to be. And if we don't get back to that, these other groups are going to have their way, which is why a lot of our situations are the way that they are. So in closing, this is why we do Thursday morning breakfast, because these people matter. These people matter. You guys matter. And we have to find enough of us that understand that Ubuntu matters. I am here because you are, and you are here because I am. And if we don't understand that community mindset, if we don't understand that everything you have has to help me and vice versa, we're simply not going to make it. And things are changing so rapidly in this country and around this world, it's going to be checkmate for us if we don't get back to that community mindset as rapidly as possible. So I want to thank you guys again for being here. Trust me, you will hear from me, you will hear from her, you already know her. And we're going to continue to work together and build because I like to always remind our people that everything we need, we already have, but we just don't know it because we're not connected. We don't talk to each other.
Right.
And in closing, remember that no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done.
All right.
And on that note, y'all have a good one. God bless.
Don't leave, I want to get a picture.
Yes.
We got it.